accomplishments. Last night cemented him as a first ballot Hall of Famer, as a future first ballot Hall of Famer. You can't tell me with all of those accomplishments that happened just this year that when Jalen Brunson retires, that he's not going to be walking right into the Hall of Fame. I hope I'm there. Hope I get the invite.
Wait. The ESPYs you think is what
that ESPYs honor is what cemented it, Perk?
First ballot Hall of Famer.
No, every single thing, best athlete, all that stuff. I mean, he's joining elite company. He's joining LeBron. He's joining Jordan. Like, you don't just get best athlete. You know what I'm saying? On top of every single thing, like he swept everything. You talk about the NBA Cup champ, NBA Cup MVP, conference MVP, finals MVP. I mean, damn. What else? Did he leave room on the table for anybody else? No.
Wendy,
and I have seen people. Hold on, real quick, Shay. Let me have my moment. I've seen people get into the Hall of Fame with less.
Okay, he had his moment. Go ahead,
Shay, in European soccer, the teams go for what's known as the treble. They want to win their League Cup, they want to win their national championship, their club championship, and they want to win the Continental Championship, which most times is the Champions League. Jalen Brunson has won the basketball version of the treble this year.
Congrats, Jalen Brunson.
That's it?
Okay, that's right. How about the runner-up to the Knicks, okay? Let's pivot away. Let's go to the Spurs, because earlier this week, on the actual, I guess, in real basketball news, not just from what happened last night, Victor Wembanyama decided not to take the Supermax and essentially gave the Spurs a little bit more money to work with. It could be up to $50 million over the next couple of years. Do you think, Wendy, this is going to set a trend now among superstars?
It's a trend already, because that's what Jalen Brunson did. And, we showed all of those honors. Jalen Brunson would not have been able to win that if he didn't have a team built around him. And what the money that Jalen left was astronomical. It's more than double, potentially. I mean, some of this is a bit of an estimation, but Jalen Brunson's move was even more grandiose. But this is why he left it. He left it to win all of these honors with a great team around him in New York City. This is the other side of him leaving that money, and believes that he's going. I mean, I was just reading earlier that he's getting the biggest. If you want to go to Fanatics Fest today in New York City, the Jalen Brunson price is higher than anybody to get the photo with him. He's got to get the money back somewhere. And so this is what Victor is seeing. Victor is seeing that to put the best team around him, that in the apron era, we've got Jim Dolan openly saying, not only saying, but doing, the Knicks are avoiding the second apron. If you know your owner is not going to pay the second apron.
If you thought Jalen Brunson was simply having a great season, think again. Because what we've witnessed this year could end up being the defining chapter of his entire career. There are very few players who can completely change the identity of a franchise, especially one playing under the spotlight of New York, but Brunson has done exactly that. He has become the heartbeat of his team, the player everyone trusts in the biggest moments, and someone who consistently delivered when the pressure was at its highest. That's why so many analysts are beginning to ask a question that sounded ridiculous just a few years ago. Are we watching the beginning of a future Hall of Fame career? It might seem too early to some people, but when you step back and look at everything he's accomplished, it's difficult to ignore just how special this season has been. Winning games is one thing, but becoming the face of one of the biggest basketball markets in the world is something completely different. That kind of responsibility breaks most players, yet Brunson embraced it and somehow elevated everyone around him. Of course, not everyone agrees that one incredible season should be enough to start talking about the Hall of Fame. There are people who believe greatness has to be sustained for years before those conversations even begin. That's a fair argument, because basketball history is filled with players who had one unforgettable season but were never able to repeat it. However, what separates Brunson from many of those players is the complete package. This wasn't just about scoring points. This was about leadership, consistency, clutch performances, and proving night after night that he could carry a championship contender on his shoulders. When teammates looked for answers, they looked toward Brunson. When the crowd needed a big play, Brunson delivered. Those are the qualities that define legendary careers. At the same time, another story has quietly become one of the most fascinating developments in the NBA. Victor Wembanyama made a decision that shocked a lot of people. Instead of chasing every possible dollar immediately, he chose a path that gives the Spurs more financial flexibility to build a stronger team around him. That's a move you don't see very often in professional sports. Most superstars understandably want every dollar they've earned, but Wembanyama appears to be thinking beyond individual contracts. He's thinking about championships. He's thinking about creating an environment where San Antonio has enough resources to surround him with elite talent. That decision sends a powerful message to the entire league, but it also creates a difficult conversation. If one superstar willingly sacrifices money to help his team, what happens when the next superstar becomes eligible for a massive contract? Will fans expect every franchise player to do the same thing? Will organizations quietly pressure their biggest stars into taking less money for the sake of winning? That's exactly why many people around the league are paying close attention. What looks like one player's personal choice today could become tomorrow's expectation for every young superstar entering the NBA. Then there's the basketball side of Wembanyama's development, and that's where things become even more exciting. As unbelievable as he already is, most experts believe he hasn't even scratched the surface of what he can become. At 7'5" with guard skills, he already creates matchup problems unlike anything we've seen before. But there is still one area where he can become almost unstoppable: his postgame. Too often he settles for difficult jump shots when he has the size advantage over nearly everyone on the floor. Imagine adding elite footwork, polished low-post moves, and reliable mid-post scoring to a player who already shoots from the perimeter and protects the rim at an elite level. That's a terrifying thought for every team in the league. Players like Hakeem Olajuwon mastered the art of scoring inside with balance, patience, and incredible footwork. If Wembanyama develops even part of that skill set, defenders will have almost no answer for him. And then we arrive at the biggest question that continues to dominate NBA conversations. What happens with LeBron James? Every offseason seems to bring another wave of speculation, and once again, fans are debating where he would have the best chance to compete for another championship. Some believe returning to Cleveland would create the perfect ending to one of the greatest careers in basketball history. Going back to the city where it all started would certainly be a storybook finish. Others believe Golden State offers the best basketball fit because of its championship culture, elite shooting, and experienced roster. Then there are those who think Philadelphia could become an interesting destination if everything comes together. And finally, there's the argument for Minnesota, where LeBron,